Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm the Gerbil, and in today's video I want to talk about the Get X fracture feat in Conquest. Now, this Conquest is already over, almost over, I understand that, but you know what? This feat is going to resurface over and over again likely. And the mechanic that I'm going to show you works pretty well. And particularly it works best with fracture, but also works very well getting 20 plus master's trainings in a single battle as well. So let me show you the data discs I'm using, the team compositions, the mechanics, and a bit of turn order to explain a really awesome dynamic. So in Conquest, the data disc that you want to use, regardless of what feat this is, where it's like get 1,000,000 of these, and you want to try to minimize the number of battles you do it in, that means you need to survive and not kill your opponents. If you fracture them to death, or you kill them with all the master's trainings, or whatever you're hunting, then you have to do the battle over and over again. Therefore, you want survivability most often, especially for the fracture feat. You want survivability, which means entrenched, fatality, unbreakable, whatever gives you health, life, protection, defense, but you want to avoid those offense boosts, particularly zealous ambition, because Thrawn is a support character, which means he will kill whoever he fractures really fast when you start to rack up those zealous ambitions. Now the team composition is really fun. Now I do have Galactic Legend Luke in there. You do not have to run with Luke. You can do this with insert tank of your choice, but Luke obviously is probably the best long battle tank in the game with the most health and whatever, but I mean, as a plug and play, of course, right? I mean, heck, you can put Ninth Sister up to 1,000,000 health pool if you do it right, but no, Luke is just solid. But of course, if you want to put in any other tank, you can, whatever you have. I can't guarantee the outcome will be the same, but it will work nonetheless. Hermit Yoda is there for whether you're doing master training or fracture. He's there because he passes turn meter to Luke, who's going to get to do some cool stuff. And of course, he's a healer and does some other fun stuff along the way. With the master training, even on non-Jedi, provides a substantial boost to their defense and survivability. Thrawn is going to be obviously the key character for fractures. Jyn is going to make Thrawn insanely fast, and I mean that. Also, we're going to put Thrawn in the leadership position. I'll explain in a second. And Wat is going to keep everyone alive and also ensure that Thrawn takes 1,000,000,000 turns. So, key mechanics: master's training from Yoda, taunt from your tank, Luke in this case, but here fracture, actually it's not fracture, but it's Thrawn's leadership. All Empire characters himself get the granted ability called maneuver, and when they use maneuver, it dispels them, which is great against especially Inquisitors that I'll show, and it's going to give himself 50% turn meter, so he's able to take a turn, pass the turn, automatically get 50% turn meter. Why do you need that? Because you need to reduce the cooldowns on that fracture. Jyn, her first special, Rebel Counter-Strike, is going to pass 100% turn meter from herself over to Thrawn, and then when she comes back to her own turn, she is going to be able to use Trenching Strike, siphoning turn meter away from an enemy of choice, so she's going to be really fast. In addition, back to Thrawn, he has the turn meter swap mechanic, so between these two, swapping and stealing turn meter and passing turn meter, they're just going to take 1,000,000 turns. Jyn is an amazing support character, even though she's an attacker. No, she's support. Think of her as support and you'll find a lot more use for her in the game. Wat, of course, has his Wat tech. The first one you probably want to apply, unless you are not worried about dying, is the tank tech. You're going to put that on your tank, in this case Luke, so that every single turn they get, they're going to recover 30% protection. If you're running the Hermit Yoda in there, Luke's going to take a lot more turns, because every time Yoda basics, then Luke gains 5%, I think it's 5% turn meter. So that adds up. Immediately after that, or arguably even first, you want to put the weapon tech on Thrawn, because what this does is give 15% turn meter to Thrawn every time an enemy takes a turn, and as we all know in Conquest, enemies are fast. So when 2 enemies take a turn, it's 30%, right? When 4 enemies take a turn, he's gained 60% turn meter. In other words, he's immediately going to become much faster than anybody on the board as a result of this. Finally, the med pack you're going to give to Jyn, because she's rather squishy and you just want to ensure she stays alive, and Yoda is off to the side, once again being left out. He's a hermit, what can you say? So how does this work? Keep in mind that 15% turn meter for each enemy. All right, so Thrawn is going to go first because the enemies are going to take their turns. Then he's going to fracture the enemy, ideally a tank. I'm going to show you this against the Reva Inquisitors, and this works just beautifully. So you're going to fracture Reva, then Jen's going to take a turn, pass that turn meter back over to Thrawn, who, while an enemy is fractured, has minus 50% speed. So he's going to be slow and he can't gain bonus turn meter while an enemy is fractured. So this is going to get him out of that fracture situation. So Reva's no longer fractured. Thrawn gets 100% turn meter. He's going to immediately swap turn meter back over to Jen, who is going to then truncheon strike an enemy of opportunity. This, ideally, you want it to be somebody who is close to maximum turn meter. Now, the thing about Jen is every time she lands a critical hit, she gains 10% stacking, unlimited potency. So by opening up with the AoE, she automatically has an opportunity to gain 50% turn meter, not turn meter, sorry, potency right then and there. So she is eventually going to get into the several hundreds of turn potency. I keep saying turn meter. So she's going to have potency just pouring out of her eyeballs. It's crazy. So this is going to start landing 100% eventually, where she will just steal off all of that turn meter, basically meaning that she's going to take another turn. She's going to basic just to drop the turn, the cooldowns on her truncheon strike and her AoE. By this point, Thrawn has definitely taken another turn. He's just going to pass the turn, recovering 50% turn meter. It's probably going to set him up immediately to take another turn. And guess what you get to do? You get to repeat the process over and over again. So once you get the hang of it, Thrawn and Jen just start going back and forth, pass turn, pass turn, pass turn, pass turn, pass turn, and you get into a nice little, not loop, but a looping-like situation. Of course, Yoda is going to heal. Watt is going to dispel and remove turn meter from target enemies when necessary. And of course, your tank is going to tank. Yeah. So here we go. Let's check it out. So here we go. We got 4 fractures going into this battle. And we're going to go over here to the Reva special mission, the final boss for stage 4. Now, of course, this could change, but I guarantee we're going to see this time and time again. Here's our team minus young Luke. We got to get rid of one-hand Luke in black, and we're going to replace him with our favorite Separatist, Wat Tambor. There he is. And we're going to go ahead and hit go. Now, my opening is a little slow here as I'm just kind of remembering and remembering how to do this. But okay, we're going to pass the tank tech as Watt always gets to go first. All right, so Watt's done his little Watt thing, and bad guys are taking their turns. Now see, had I gone ahead and put the weapon tech on Thrawn probably would have just gone first to get this ball going. But here we go, watch this. We got Fracture 1, and now then Jen is gonna take a turn, and she's gonna say, hey Thrawn, take a turn. And Thrawn's like, cool, hey Jen, you take a turn. And Jen's like, okay, sure, I will. And I basicked because unfortunately Reva's taunting early, so we can't steal anyone's turn meter. Reva didn't have any turn meter, having just been fractured. That's okay. Thrawn says fracture again. See, it took 21 seconds. 21 seconds was all it took to go from fracture 1 to fracture 2. So once you get this system down, and you just start hammering away almost by muscle memory, you're going to be able to do this fast. There we go. Pass turn meter to Jen. Jen's going to go over to fifth brother. Look how much turn meter he has. Oh, none. It's hers. Thrawn's going to pass turn. He's going to fracture again. And then Jen's going to take a turn. We got a basic, unfortunately, because the cooldowns. So now we're just going to have to wait. Thrawn does a little pew-pew. Okay, we're going to, I don't know why, I guess just put foresight on people. All right, pass turn meter over to Jen. Jen's going to pass turn meter back. Actually, looks like I tried to steal turn meter, which was okay. Then Thrawn gives himself 50% turn meter. We're going to AoE to ability block everyone. We're going to now fracture Reva. Jen is going to say, hey, Thrawn, I know you're fractured, but here, get unfractured, right? I mean, Thrawn's not fractured, but he's suffering the effects of someone else being fractured. So, okay, so we're going to steal the most turn meter we could, which happened to be fifth brother. Thrawn's gonna pass, and you can see how this just goes on and on and on and on until the end of the battle. And I will go ahead and let this play out, but I don't really have that much more to say about it. So if you want to watch it and enjoy it, awesome. But at the end of the video, you'll see I'll go into my feats, and there will be 31 fractures, whereas previously going into it we had 4, right? So 27 fractures. And if I had played this faster and smarter, because I do make many mistakes in here, you know, not always paying attention, I honestly think that I probably could have got this up to 30 plus fractures, maybe 32, 33, but really it doesn't matter since the feat is, I think, 50 or 40. No matter what, it's basically, it's 2 battles, right? You only need to do it 2 times to get all those fractures. So, hey, I hope this helps. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, if you really think about this, between these 2 characters, you can use them to speed up almost anybody exponentially. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.